Hello and welcome to Three-Way Dance, a wrestling podcast. That's exactly what it is. I'm MakonCrayley, and I'm joined here today by AliRock
Hey, how's it going?
and also Ryan Schramm.
I've rolled initiative and I'm going to be casting silvery barbs this whole time.
I understood
What
what
the
that meant.
wait, what effect does that have on the podcast?
Let's find out.
Okay, well, it's good that he's casting silver because today we're watching Smackdown, the blue and silver brand. We're watching fucking November 10th, 2006. This is the very first episode of wrestling I ever watched.
Wow. Tell us more, Mac.
Which,
I mean, I was gonna tell you more like in a bit, but yeah, this is the episode I watched for like wrestling for the very first time. It was like the Sunday after this aired, like in Australia, so like 2 days after it aired, and like I was watching like a Simpsons marathon because every Saturday and Sunday they had like a Simpsons marathon on Fox 8, and I just forgot to change the channel, and then SmackDown began airing, and I was like, fuck it, whatever, and yeah, I saw this show, I enjoyed it, and ever since then I've been a fucking mark.
so if you're just scrolling through the internet, not wondering what's going on, you see this and saying, "Why are they reviewing the most random episode of SmackDown?" Well, now you know why.
Yeah, it's because I've really been wanting to like rewatch this episode, and like now I have in this
No,
format.
that's a good thing to kind of return to your roots and. I mean, in some ways, figure out why you fell in love with it in the first place. I don't think that's
Exactly.
necessarily a problem on your end, but it's something we can all stand to do more often.
True. Yeah, because at some point we'll probably also look at like Armageddon 2006, which was the first pay per view I watched.
Okay, well, let's not get crazy.
Now hang on a minute.
Maybe some roots are better left untouched.
Hey, that's a good show.
I'm joking.
It had the ladder match. It had like MVP being set on fire.
Do you think I remember?
Like
I mean, I remember.
It had Mr.
I remember
Kennedy
everything.
taking a
You're a
fucking crazy
freak.
bump.
I mean, it had Inferno match, Last Ride match. It had John Cena and Batista. You know me. If the world champion is on the show and they're not in a title match, it's a wash for me.
I mean, yeah, but I also had Joey Mercury getting his face absolutely fucking destroyed.
Oh, it's that show.
It is that show.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like because that's
Okay, fair
straight up
point.
one of my favorite ladder matches of all time.
But
Yeah,
before we get
that
to
match
that,
was
like
really good.
let's focus on this one. So, like, what was everyone's thoughts on the show itself?
I honestly I enjoyed it. Like, it's obviously not like an old timer SmackDown or anything. Like, it's literally just bog standard like good SmackDown.
Yeah, it was SmackDown. I was watching in this time period, and it was SmackDown. It wasn't worse than I was expecting. It wasn't better than I was expecting. It was just SmackDown.
I mean, I'm complete. Like, I was also watching this period, but this is around when I did first start watching. So this is before I got into my whole like smarky, like no, like smart, like before I knew any better, quote unquote. This was a lot more enjoyable than I thought it would be because, like, nowadays you're like 2000s, like a ruthless aggression WWE. It's just, but no, like, I mean, there was nothing I'd say was like incredible. But like I said, I had a lot of fun going through this, and it was good nostalgia.
Yeah.
That's interesting because I'm a bit younger, right? So I was like 8, 9 when this happened, 8 or 9. So for me, even when I was young, I was still like there was a spark within me, but I enjoyed it, man. I was a Batista fan, and Booker T was pretty good as well. And I mean, I liked a lot of the guys that were wrestling in SmackDown at that time period. So you know what, I didn't think I would not like it. I thought it would just be okay, which I think it ended up being okay.
I mean, I'll just say I'm a little surprised by the comments about being a Batista fan, because if you all know anything about this group, it's that we hate Batista.
Oh yeah,
we
big Batista haters. Yeah, we would never be big marks for Batista.
Never.
Yeah, we would never make Batista our fucking icon on Discord.
But I mean, starting off, like, God, I miss that intro. Just the clips and the old commentary and the old sound bites. The entire world is watching.
Oh yeah, true. Like, cause
Yeah,
like the
when I
current
heard
one's
that,
like fine.
now this was I think iconic. I think I'd say this one was more iconic than the one before, the Attitude Era one.
Yeah, oh yeah, I know what you mean. Like the where it's like showing all like the images and all that.
Yeah, and some
Well,
like weird noise playing.
after this was the whole like then, now, forever,
Yeah.
and which I mean, but speaking of things we miss, God, I miss Tony Chimmel.
Oh, true. I mean, like before you get to that, like the fucking stage.
I actually like I noticed far later than I should have that there was no fist. I don't know if this was like a double taping.
Here's the thing, because like I watched the Smackdown from like 2 weeks prior. It was the Rey Mysterio like I Quit match one, and like they had this exact same setup. So I don't know what the fuck this was about.
When did they get rid of the fist?
Not
till
for till after
2009.
this.
2008.
Oh,
Like it's when they actually fully
okay.
changed the stage.
Oh, okay.
But,
Then yeah, I got no idea.
But I mean, the show opens, with a recap of Cyber Sunday, which I will be the 9,000th person to say that's a concept that really has more place today than back then.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But
like it was ahead of its curve, but also still kind of shit.
Yeah, I mean, and we got the recap about how King Booker retained his title against John Cena and Big Show in the Champions match, and it's just it's funny to think about like we've heard so many people like talk about like no seriously those votes are real. Like I know it's surprising, but those votes are real, and so we knew that nobody was going to be losing their title in that match. So whoever was voted to be defending their title, we knew was going to win. And it was just funny that like basically the fans were voting who was going to win, because if they voted that the WWE title was going to be on the line, John Cena was going to win.
Yeah, I'm sure they had like actual like plans for like, oh, if fucking Big Show won, like this is how he'd win. Actually, no, it probably would have been the exact same finish, like with K-Fed like running in.
Yeah. Well, Kevin Federline.
Yeah, he
also. Yeah. Also, it's funny and it's nostalgic to see them like recapping pay-per-views with slideshows, because they're so reluctant to show you actual footage, because they're like, no, we need to get them to spend money. If you want to watch this, you got to give us cash for it.
Buy the DVD if you missed the pay-per-view.
Yeah, buy the replay.
Yeah. But yeah, I just remember JBL's comments that King Booker overcame 2,000 pounds of opposition, 250 pounds from Cena, 1,750 for Big Show.
Wait, what?
Oh yeah, no, that was what he said. He said that 2,000 pounds of opposition, 250 pounds for Cena, 1,750 pounds in the Big Show.
Oh, okay. I got my wires crossed. I thought that was like 100 and something for Big Show.
This stuck with me just because this was hands down when Big Show was at his least healthy and was probably definitely on the verge of like some serious health issues before he left and got healthy.
Yeah, he's gone like next month.
Yeah, but then he came back like God, like I want to say like 200 pounds lighter.
Yeah, he got into really great shape.
Yeah, he was
like,
in very good shape. I remember he slimmed down a lot.
So I know that Gunther technically counts, but is King Booker the last person who actually got elevated from winning King of the Ring?
I mean, Regal would have been if he didn't get fucking caught.
Regal would have, but like after this, it was Regal. It was Sheamus. Barrett,
and then Corbin. Oh, God.
Corbin, like, but did he actually get elevated from it? I don't think so.
No.
I mean,
He was
if
he was main eventing pay-per-views for the Universal title before he won it.
he was general manager.
Yeah. And let's be honest, when they gave it to Xavier Woods, it was just a fine here, nobody cares.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. And then they had him get fucking buried by Roman.
But yeah, Booker talks about how he's weeping because, like Alexander, he has no more worlds to conquer.
Yeah.
He
Oh,
did indeed say that.
I want to acknowledge like one of the greatest fucking signs I think I've ever seen is, and it's just a fucking, it's a toilet seat with Booker's picture inside of it, with a secondary sign that says this is the only throne that Kate Booker deserves. And I miss those kind of signs. Like that's such a fucking creative sign. Like, why can't more people do that?
But that's when Teddy Long came out, and I miss babyface authority figures. Now they're either heel or they're neutral, which just seems face in comparison to the
Yeah.
comically heel ones. Like,
I'm-
what is Adam Pearce?
Adam Pearce fucking
He's
sucks.
just a
That's
chill
what he is.
guy.
Yeah, no, he sucks. He's a bad boss. Canonically terrible boss.
But you know what doesn't suck?
Teddy Long.
Is Teddy Long, but also Booker dropping his king accent whenever he gets angry.
Yeah, I fucking love that shit. Like, I love this entire fucking gimmick. It rolls
It's
so hard.
funny.
Like Booker's just the funny guy in general. Like, he gets it. Like, he gets like when to do certain things. Like when to react like a certain way, say like something, like repeat something. It's like, dudes, like he was turned on like during this fucking decade.
Yep. And now for
Think-
what I thought was a great touch, which is Teddy Long announcing that Batista is going to be challenging for the World Heavyweight Championship at Survivor Series.
Yep.
But he made the point of saying, I said he's facing the World Heavyweight Champion. That doesn't necessarily mean you. And that's when he reveals Bobby Lashley is coming out for a title match.
Big Bobbit.
At which point, yes, JBL then accused Teddy Long of being racist against Booker T. Sorry, King Booker.
That is certainly true. Holy shit. JBL is fucking wild this episode.
Yeah, thing is, I don't remember JBL being this wild. When I was hearing him, I was thinking, huh?
I will say you know what, there's plenty more to talk about JBL throughout this show. So I want to say, I forgot how over Bobby Lashley was at this time.
Dude, he was over. Like, he was pushed really hard, but also people liked it a lot. And people are expecting him to be, super big. I mean, he was pretty big, but he left and stuff.
He was, but he wasn't.
Yeah,
he was,
exactly.
But he wasn't. Because
he didn't get to like that Batista level or something like that,
Well, here's the issue: is about a month before, Bobby Lashley was going to be facing Booker T for the championship at No Mercy, and then at the last minute they threw Finlay and Batista in there to make it a fatal 4-way. And to me, that's just like, oh, I get it. You don't think Lashley can sell a pay-per-view, can you?
I mean, he probably couldn't at the time. Like, actually, I guess
No. It's just one of those things where it's like, this is when you give them the chance. Though, to be fair, he did later main event a pay-per-view. It was December to Dismember.
Oh yeah, true.
What a lovely pay-per-view.
Actually, like the only pay-per-view he main evented like on his own, like during this, like his first run was like the Cena
Great American Bash 2008.
Yeah, 2007.
Correct.
Yes.
2007. So I just want to make note that I loved when JBL was talking about how Teddy Long is such a horrible person for booking this match. But also on the side, opening your show with a World Heavyweight Championship match is why Smackdown is the best show.
Yeah. Look,
yeah, to be fair, if you think about it now, that's a pretty sick way of opening the show. That's actually, okay. you open with this, then later you have the main event, and then in the middle you have some. Like, you know what? Actually, I changed my mind. This was a good show. It wasn't just okay. It was more than a good, just a okay show. You
Yeah,
convinced
like
me.
this is, oh my god, it's actually kind of built like a fucking AEW show now. Like we have like a massive fucking match to start off with, and then like you have the massive main event as well. But like you have like stuff. It's like that's sort of people in the middle, like doing their own thing.
I mean, in this show, this got me nostalgic because, like I said, I watched this before I knew any better. So this is when I actually had hope that Lashley could actually win.
Hmm.
Which is ironic because over a decade after this match, SmackDown did this twice of having the championship change hands like a week or two before Survivor Series.
Oh yeah. They did that like
But
literally 2 years in a row. That's fucking awesome.
I don't have much to say about the match itself. It was fine. It was well worked. I did love the catching, spinning power slam that he caught Booker in.
Yeah, that
was
fucking ruled.
sick. Also, the effortless single-handed suplex from Bobby Lashley.
Oh yeah, well that's just if you know Bobby Lashley, you love that spot.
Yeah. One of my
Now,
big notes was
yeah.
Lashley hits Booker with a clothesline at one point, goes for a pin. Booker kicks out, but then they cut to an entirely different like part of the match, where like Booker's like completely different like angle. Like
you know those pre-tapes and all
yeah.
that. But so I just thought this was a really lame finish for a couple reasons.
Mm.
Like it was weird because I don't know. I feel like it was set up so that the roll up and the cheating was not what like I don't know. It felt flat, but not in a the heel cheated way. But then also the fact that it ended with him trying to continue to beat down Lashley, and then Lashley getting the upper hand, and that's when I started to remember. Oh yeah, I wanted Lashley to be the one to beat Booker, not Batista. And it was weird. And considering that Lashley like never got anywhere near Booker again, this just felt weird.
Yeah, true.
Because with this, then Lashley started focusing on being part of Team Cena, at which point he jumped to ECW.
Yeah. I'll be honest, I don't actually remember like too much of like fucking like the stuff after this episode. Cause like obviously I remember this episode, like the stuff, everything that happened in this episode, but I don't remember like what happens next week. Like I don't remember like how Lashley goes to ECW because I didn't find ECW for like another month or so.
Yeah. I did make one note. Booker T makes a lot of noise while wrestling.
Yeah.
He's hitting people, he's making noise. He's getting hit, he's making noise. And they're distinct noises as well. Each noise is different, but you can still tell what it is, and it's quite amusing because he's very vocal. It sounds kind of funny, but also you can tell what's happening just from hearing him.
Yeah, like it's one of those weirdly engaging things where it's like you. Oh god, I don't know the best way to describe this. It's just like enthralling in like a goofy way.
Yeah. Also, one more note: he also had a sick sidekick as well, but that's
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's just Booker in general. His moveset's fucking awesome.
So we got Teddy Long backstage, and MVP comes in saying he needs to talk to him. At which point Teddy says, "Not now, playa."
I thought was see no evil.
And, we're going to have a lot to say about JBL on commentary, but he brought up a great point. Why is Teddy Long watching a DVD during an episode during SmackDown?
Right?
Yeah, I was thinking that too. And also, before we continue, 1 second. What rating do you give the previous match out of 10?
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, this is fucking 6.5.
Yeah, I'll say like a 6.5. It's a respectable. It was well worked. It served its purpose. Yeah. I'll say a 6 more than a 6.5 just because that rating or that
6 for me as
ending.
well. Yeah.
So
Wait.
MVP, just talking about how like it's messed up that Teddy Long came out and restarted the tag match with him and Kennedy versus the Brothers Destruction twice. Talking about how he's from the street. At which point Teddy Long brings that to its inevitable conclusion of Chekhov's gun to say, "Cool, you have a street fight against Kane next week."
Yeah,
And I just remember this just the SmackDown versus Raw GM mode rivalry booking where the two people feuding just for whatever reason are constantly fighting each other every single week.
I mean, yeah,
Oh,
true.
yeah.
It's like that's the sort of like default wrestling storyline in general.
I know, but it's just funny when you think about how this ends up, which is, as we mentioned before, like the Infernal match versus at Armageddon. Inferno match.
Ah, true. Now, what I want to know is when is MVP going to be bringing back the MJF scarf?
I just want to say I did actually really like MVP. I thought he was really good.
Oh yeah,
he should have been world champion. What the fuck?
We do not have the time on this podcast to get into that can of worms.
True. Speaking of can of worms, Chavo Guerrero is backstage with Vicky Guerrero.
That is not where I thought you were going to go with can of worms, because that's later in the show.
Oh my god, true, you're fucking right. Oh my god.
Benoit comes in, and first he says, "Hey, it's messed up that you're saying Ray's trying to steal the Guerrero legacy, but also, is this about Eddie's estate?" At which point, Vicky immediately cuts him off and says, "Whoa! We're not talking about that. We're talking about the fact that you have a title match against Chavo at Survivor Series."
Like, what the fuck were they trying to do with it? Like, this storyline.
Well, here's the thing. That, like, they had already secured the most disgusting promotional tactic award for exploiting Eddie Guerrero's death in storyline.
Yeah.
That's already in the books. I am really glad that this part of the storyline was dropped. They did end up dropping that storyline.
Yeah.
Part of me is still really curious what the hell they were on about.
Yeah, I had no recollection of this whatsoever.
Because, like, is he saying that, like, Eddie Guerrero left Rey Mysterio everything in his will? That doesn't make sense.
I almost feel like Benoit got, like, a different script and, like, they just changed, like, exactly what the fucking storyline was mid-fucking promo.
Well, I just remember the next week, and we're not going to dive into too much, but I just remember next week Vicky came and screaming at him for, why are you getting in contact with my attorneys? And it's like, I know what you're up to. And I'm like, well, I don't know. And we never found out because that was, I don't know. Like, look, the whole thing was just controversial, but I mean,
yeah.
Call me crazy, but I'm pretty sure that someone once said controversy creates cash.
Oh, no. No. Not controversy. An ad plays for Eric Bischoff's fucking book, and Eric Bischoff fucking lies for his teeth the entire fucking segment.
What? Really Eric Bischoff lying? That's a really grave accusation. You can't just say that.
It's just really weird to see an ad for a book. Like,
yeah.
Seeing this, you would think it would be a documentary. Like, I think you'd think that this was an ad for a documentary and that they would make one about this. And then it turns out they did. They made about 4,000 documentaries about this, including one that just came out this year.
But he was kind of shut down the NWA angle like multiple times, even though that's absolutely not fucking true.
Look, we don't have time on this podcast to get into all the things that Eric Bischoff lied about.
Oh god, yeah, that would take like literally a decade.
That's the Christmas special.
That's the Christmas. Tune in like 2 weeks, maybe. Who knows?
Okay, so those of you who are tuning in, like, we're not very far into this thing. You don't know me as well as these guys do. Would you guys say that I have a good memory?
Yes. Yeah. In fact, I would argue too good a memory.
Yeah.
I remember Jimmy Wang Yang. I remember, like, a year from now, he's having a tag team with Shannon Moore. I remember the cavalcade of random blonde women to show up in WWE for the next 10 years. I have zero recollection of Amy.
Neither, honestly. Like, this isn't Amy Weber, right? This is like
I
this
don't
is
know who
different
that
Amy,
is.
right? She was like the person who Randy Gunn sat in her bag.
I don't know.
How-
This was
yeah, I
She
don't
was
know who that is. I
JBL's
don't know who this
manager
Amy was.
before Zillion Hall.
but like I remember Jillian Hall, I remember Caitlyn, I remember like it's just, but I have no recollection of Amy. I'm sure she was probably like someone who lost the previous Diva search or something.
Probably,
But
yeah.
So,
but anyway,
upon Googling,
yeah.
Amy Zidian,
Ah.
that is her.
Yeah.
She finished 8th in the 2006 Diva Search.
Oh. I wonder why.
And then she signed a developmental deal.
Hmm.
She competed with Kelly and Trinity in an extreme bikini contest in the WWE ECW house show about a week and a half before this SmackDown.
Okay.
And then the week before this SmackDown, she made her debut as Jimmy Wang Yang's manager. And then two
Wait, this is
months
her
later, she
debut.
was released from her contract.
Oh,
No,
Yes,
the week
this
before
was
this.
debut.
When
Sorry?
was she
Because
released?
as they were coming to the ring, like they literally had a little picture-in-picture of Jimmy introducing her.
Oh, right. Oh, wait, that was
Yeah.
actually her full intro. I thought it was just like, hey, yeah, this is her, whatever. Like, I didn't know this was actually her debut.
No, the week before this was her debut, and then 2 months after this, she was released.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. That's...
Okay. But
oh, okay, and
let's
interesting.
move on to more important things, which is
well, this
wait.
actually interesting though. 1 second, actually interesting. Rumors circulated backstage post syndrome concussions. Amy was involved in 2 car wrecks while signed under talent.
What?
She was there for like 3 months, and she was involved in 2 car wrecks apparently.
Juventude Guerrero, eat your fucking heart out.
So on to
okay, yeah, we can move on.
Actual important things. Gregory Helms' theme song.
Gregory Helms. The sunglasses.
Legendary
Titantron.
sunglasses Titantron.
When does he get its time? Like, that's like start of 2007, right?
Yeah. Yeah, this theme is not long for the world. I remember that it, like, the part where it opens with him saying Gregory Helms was the beginning of the end for it.
Yeah, oh, I mean, this was fucking... He's had this for, like, the entire... Like, since the turn. Like, in 2005.
But then we got Gregory Helms and ambassador to the province of Quebec, Sylvain
Grenier.
Versus
I remember him in La
Yang
Resistance.
Versus Jimmy Wang Yang, and being mentioned for the first time, despite being the biggest name in this, Matt Hardy.
Not just Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy in iconic Matt Hardy pants. I fucking love those pants. Like,
this is not prime Matt Hardy, but this is prime Matt Hardy pants.
Yeah, like, these are the pants that everyone fucking used in SmackDown versus Raw.
And just throwing this out there, yes, we got the whole... Throughout the match, we got JBL making his little racist or subtly bigoted comments, questioning how an Asian can be a redneck.
Dude, this is just the fucking tip of the iceberg for JBL being racist.
Not only that, it was much more overt than that. He was comparing him to Jackie Chan and who else did he... Yoko Ono. A Chinese and a Japanese. A Chinese and a Japanese, and Jimmy Wang Yang's Korean.
But then Michael Cole just outright like dropping pretense and saying, "So, John, what is it about someone with Asian heritage that makes them unable to be a redneck?" And JBL just faffed about, just had nothing to... So,
did he not watch King of the Hill?
But
genuine question.
The match itself was not half bad. I think it was better than I would have expected it to be. You know,
yeah, I think it was pretty decent. Jimmy Wang Yang was sick.
Yep.
He was.
Like
I
he
mean, I
did
would
like
have
a
preferred if
perfect.
he got the win, but obviously Matt Hardy is the star player in this.
Yeah. Dude,
Yeah.
I wish Jimmy Wang Yang won fucking any big matches. I wish he was fucking cruiserweight champion.
I mean, he also got a title match at Armageddon.
True. Actually, yeah, true.
But yep, but no, you're right. And it's not a good sign for you when you're teaming with Matt Hardy and commentary's just talking about, hey guys, in a couple weeks, Matt Hardy gets to finally team up with Jeff. You know, the person we all want to see him team with.
Oh no, I didn't even notice that. Fuck.
But yeah, no, like some good high fast paced action from Yang in the beginning. A hot tag from Matt Hardy, side effect, bulldog clothesline, and then Jimmy Wang Yang does a bit of a springboard onto plancha onto Sylvan, and Matt finishes with an off the ropes twist of fate. 1, 2, 3.
Yep.
I mean, I'll give
It's
this
good.
a 6, a 5.5. I'll you know what it's I'll give it a 5, 5.5.
Yeah,
I think it was
that's about right.
Really, I'll give it a 6.
I think it was fine. Like honestly, Sylvan's heat on on Wang Yang was like it lasted for fucking ever.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just thought Yang was I thought he was really good. I like.
Oh yeah, Wang Yang's fucking awesome.
Now
He deserved more.
now we got another video hyping up Finlay and Batista, and I love this shit. Like this wasn't just here's a replay for what happened a couple. No, this was a full-fledged video hype package with filters and effects and commentary voiceovers. Like this show did a great job of saying, "Hey guys, this main event between Batista and Finlay, this is important. This is a big deal.
This means something."
This.
Yeah, I found it quite amusing that they said there's lots of history and they're showing a replay from like 2 or 3 weeks ago. But that aside, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, the way they built up that match over the show, it actually got me quite hyped for it.
Yeah, and I mean, I realized I was wrong later on in the main event. Obviously, I did originally write down, man, I remember how intimidating Finlay used to be before the leprechaun bullshit.
Oh no! Oh no! No, this was mid fucking leprechaun bullshit.
Oh yes. So then, and it was only until at this point when Kennedy came out that I noticed that the SmackDown fist was missing.
Oh yeah.
Now, okay, so in the following years, he'd show he didn't actually have quote unquote it, but my God, they should have pulled the trigger on this guy, Kennedy.
Like
Yeah.
I would say he had enough of it. Like at this point, where like, yeah, no, you could see why they were trying to push him to be like world champion, and like he was he was literally a week away from being world champion too before like everything blew up.
Yep.
Yeah, I was fully expecting him to be a pretty high level guy. I'm assuming you guys were as well.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. I enjoy. I say this all the time to you guys outside of this chat, but I loved his whole thing of keeping track of the number of former world champions he's beaten.
Yeah,
he beat
cool as well.
At the time 4, but he was still a rookie. That's the point. It's something you could only do with a newer star. Like it's something you can only do with someone when they recently debuted, when they're going to shoot to the top. Because obviously, like enough people have held the title. Like if you're 5 years down the line, yeah, you'll have beaten a good amount of them. But to say I've only been here for a year and I've already beaten 4, like yeah, that's something to start bragging about.
Oh, yeah, true.
And I'm pretty sure by the time he dropped it, got up to like 7.
I think I remember 6 for some reason.
But are you counting when he beat Batista by disqualification?
That's a good question. That is a very good question.
One pretty funny quote from Kennedy. He says, You are looking at the future of sports entertainment. Yeah, about that, pal.
Well, you know what? You know what? With the benefit of hindsight, yes. But like I said, like at the time, we all believed it.
Yeah, we did. That's what makes it funny is that he said it and it was actually believable. But yeah,
Yeah, Kennedy talks about how 16 years ago, The Undertaker made his debut at Survivor Series, and now, 16 years later, he's got a
18 years
fucking
later,
18 years. Is it 18?
it's been 18 years
It's
since he said that the Undertaker made his debut 16
oh
years.
my
As
god,
in,
yeah.
this should Kennedy saying this was closer to Undertaker making his debut as the Undertaker than it is to now.
That is fucking wild.
And the only person who hasn't aged in that time was Bobby Lashley.
That's fucking true. Actually, but it's yeah, true.
Because black don't crack.
I mean, MVP kind of hasn't aged that much.
He walks with a walking cane.
He walks with
he has
a cane
now.
But anyway,
I mean, he used to fight against Kane. Now he walks with one.
so Undertaker comes out after Kennedy lays down the challenge to face him at Survivor Series, and Kennedy beats him down. And
he does.
This time, I think that's the first time I realized, oh yeah, that's like a metal microphone.
Mm. Yeah, he beats the absolute shit out of him.
The hell out of him.
And here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. Like, this is not going to be the last time we see the Undertaker beaten down. And this is one of those things you can only say 18 years later. There's just something about seeing the Undertaker in just a feud. Like, he's able to get beat down without us having to say to each other, "Oh, guys, do you think this is it? Do you think it's over? Do you think this is the last we're going to see of him?"
Oh shit, true. Yeah, because it's like I think it's like 2 more years before we actually get into that, isn't there?
I would say 4. I think we're 3.5 because 2010 was probably the last time that Undertaker was wrestling semi-regularly. Because
after wasn't he world champion even after this?
He was world champion in 2010.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no, was he? No, wait, no, he wasn't.
Yeah, he was.
Oh, wait, no, he was. He was.
Don't you remember in the Shawn
right.
Michaels thing? The part of it is that he cost him the title, right?
And then, but then the next year it was when he started mostly just showing up for WrestleMania.
Right.
So any other thoughts on this segment?
Yes, because I when I was watching this again, like I'm pretty sure I remembered like this was kind of the segment that like fully got me into wrestling. Because like the opening match was good, like and all that, but like I feel like this segment was the one that like made me realize, oh shit, this is actually fucking awesome.
Look, like people like me who love the work rate are going to hate admitting it, but you're very rarely going to get somebody into wrestling by showing them wrestling.
True. Actually, very true.
Like, I will say,
show me Undertaker looking like Van Helsing, getting the shit beat out of him with a microphone, and like, yeah,
I will say I was a little disappointed because I was really hoping that this was going to be the segment that I believe happens next week, where Undertaker announces that it's going to be First Blood, at which point blood just starts raining down on Mr. Kennedy.
Oh, do I remember?
Now that you mention it, I vaguely remember that.
I actually don't remember that. I need to look that up.
So then we got Benoit coming out.
Yeah.
For a match against Casey James.
Casey James. And to paraphrase McGregor, who the is that guy?
Well, I'll tell you. So Casey James was a member of a tag team managed by Michelle McCool. They were called the Teacher's Pets. They were like the equivalent. They showed up for just one pay-per-view cycle to challenge London and Kendrick, who I don't believe we saw at all on this show, by the way.
No, yeah, they weren't on show at all.
And I only remember that they were champs because they held the titles for over a year.
Yeah, they were champions forever.
And they were not in fucking SmackDown versus Raw.
They weren't in the video game, and they were they were tag team champions.
So he came out, and it was Teacher's Pets, which was Casey James and Idol Stevens. And if that name rings a bell, Idol Stevens later went on to become Damian Sandow.
Oh wait, oh my
Yes,
god, I didn't even know
that's
that.
where that name was familiar.
I did not know
Now,
that actually.
whereas Casey James did not do any. He not do any. What he did after this, I got curious, so I checked. He went on to win 4 OVW tag team titles and the OVW television championship.
One of which he beat Colt Cabana for.
And basically, yeah, this was Casey James was a no-name. I don't want to be me. He was enhancement talent, and he was used as such.
Yeah, this is the last match of his run here.
And then obviously we have the classic. Here comes the next Mrs. Layfield.
Oh, great, of course, because
Whereas
JBR to be a pervert too.
Well, he was incorrect. That was the next Mrs. Calloway.
Yeah, true. I know it's the next Mrs. Palumbo.
Oh yeah.
You will remember me. that gave me coming.
But now I don't particularly like Michelle McCool. Like I don't dislike her, but I do think one of the best things about her is that her name is actually Michelle McCool.
Yes.
She has the most wrestler fucking name possible.
Right behind Tyson Smith.
Yeah.
Except Tyson Smith chose not to use that as his wrestling name.
Yeah,
that's a damn shame.
Yeah. Okay, so this match lost way too
Ollie,
fucking
trivia. Ollie, trivia. Who is Tyson Smith?
I forgot. I can't lie.
Kenny Omega.
Oh yes.
Kenny Omega. But the if it seems like I'm being dismissive, it's just because this match it wasn't a complete squash.
It should have been.
It wasn't a complete squash, but it wasn't not. Like
why?
Why
was this guy beating up Benoit for like a solid minute? Why?
You're literally out the door, fucking in now even.
Not just Chris Benoit, the United States champion, Chris Benoit.
Benoit hits the cringe dropper, aka the diving headbutt. That makes me cringe every time he hits it. Causing James to roll over, at which point he locks in the crippler crossface and gets the win.
With a struggle.
I find it cool how I find it cool. I did find it cool how the way Benoit dived at him after, like not the headbutt. I mean, the way he just leaped on him for the crossface was pretty cool. But yeah, and then after he taps out, Benoit keeps the crossface on.
I think he did. I think that actually was like just a thing he did.
I mean, maybe I would be remiss, and Mac, by all means, remove this in the editing, but we're less than a year from that happening.
Yes. Yeah, you're correct.
Yeah, because there wasn't long between Guerrero and him, was there?
Yeah, it's like
the Guerrero
feud.
Year and a half.
It's like the Guerrero feud. He has like a tag match at No Mercy, the MVP feud, and then that's it.
And then he spends about a week on ECW.
Was supposed to fight CM Punk.
Man.
But
fucking yeah.
Well, moving on to something better? Question mark. It is better. It is better. We're not
less upsetting.
I don't know if either of you are aware of this, but that man is the Boogeyman, and check my notes. He's coming to get you.
Ah, shit!
Oh no,
he could be anywhere. Boogeyman versus TJ Dalton.
Yeah. Also, just as a throwaway, I don't know, a two for that match. By the way.
Oh yeah, two.
Oh
two
yeah,
well,
yeah, true, yeah. This is a 10.
My entire notes for this match, my entire notes I have typed out is, ew.
Yeah, fair. My notes are Boogeyman double goozles Dalton when he tries to escape, and then worms out of Boogeyman's mouth.
Yes, I also wrote worms come out of his mouth in my notes. That was my second note. My first note was from the bottomless pit.
I love the bottomless pit.
I mean,
Jack,
but yeah. So,
okay.
Our friend Jack would hate the bottomless pit, though.
where is the bottomless pit?
You know, it's
I mean,
it's
I
near.
believe it's right by Parts Unknown.
There was actually
Yeah.
like an old image that like I'm pretty sure was like it had like a road sign of like parts unknown and fucking bottomless
Oh,
pit
probably.
somewhere. It was
The
like a
toxic
404
wasteland.
thing. Yeah, kind of. I know it's
So you
like
turn
a
right
sort of
from Know
western.
Your Role Boulevard.
Oh, it could be. Actually, maybe
So
the
we got
bottomless
ourselves.
pit is like a bar.
Yeah. All right. So I gave this a 1 just because it was
Yeah,
literally nothing. It was come
it's
out, show off
literally
the worms, hit a choke bomb.
some of the worms.
No, I think it's gonna be more than just a 1. I mean, like the worms are pretty gross in like a cool way. You know what I mean?
So wait. Why
The
did
worms did not
Boogeyman
work
not?
for me
Why did the Boogeyman not feud with Scotty Too Hottie?
because they were both babyface.
Fuck, true. But then you could have the worm versus the worm, or they could be a team even.
I don't know.
Boogeyman, no, Scotty does the worm while Boogeyman's like inserting the worms.
Scotty Too
And-
Hottie is a relic from a past time.
He was
And
still in
speaking
the
of a
roster
relic
at this
from a past
time.
time, yeah. And speaking of a relic from a past time, WWE Magazine.
Oh yeah. Oh, you're forgetting like another book of Batista recap.
Batista Finlay.
Batista Finlay, yes, thank you. Yes, that's
Because at this point, if I feel like after the one of him interrupting the match with Lashley, I feel like they was like, all right, that was the big one. We're phoning the rest of these in.
I mean, kinda, yeah, because this is like from 2 weeks ago, which is so I watched, and like, yeah, it's just he fucking clotheslined Batista and that's it. He just runs back.
I mean, and like you were talking about how like they're just doing stuff from like the past like 3 or 4 weeks, but like that's what you do for a main event of a weekly TV show. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, if this was on a pay-per-view, yeah, show us months of drama.
I mean, but yeah, WWE Magazine presents the Raw Rebound.
And
Kevin Federline cuts a promo with calling all cards playing.
Yeah, Big Daddy Viscerous music is playing while they're showing Kevin Federline. So, I think is I remember when this Kevin Federline thing happened. He came on Raw or whatever it was, and he fought. He attacked John Cena, and they fought each other. But I had no idea who this guy was. He was just some skinny guy.
nobody did.
Like,
Yeah,
they knew
like
he was like Britney Spears' like boyfriend.
Husband.
Yeah, I knew that because commentary
Husband
told
even.
me.
Oh.
Well, here's the
Yeah,
thing.
I knew that because
This is the most insulting thing I could say about Kevin Federline. This is a TNA tier celebrity appearance.
Oh yeah. Oh, actually, this is fucking.
And keep in mind, WWE got Snooki. TNA brought in virtually everyone else from Jersey Shore.
Yes, you're right. I remember this. I mean,
Like
they kind of all
how
be
you
Pro
that's
Wrestling
how you
Noah
set.
with Kanye West in the audience.
But I also want to point out that quick reminder that Kevin Federline won that match.
Yeah, he did.
Granted, it was a no DQ match, and Umaga interfered, and we're shown in this rebound why. Umanga. Apologies. Now, I completely skipped over it in my notes. Did we skip over the backstage Miz segment?
No, that's next.
Yeah, that's next. So
you also forgot Maria getting murdered by Umaga.
We're reviewing SmackDown. Didn't want to go too much into Raw.
I mean, like, it's kind of important because fucking Umaga murders the shit out of Maria, and then John Cena runs out way too late to make the save.
After Maria's been killed, he runs out.
Now, Mac, you and I actually very recently had this conversation. Like, I don't like intergender wrestling.
True.
Like, it has nothing to do with it. It's not about like, like, oh, it's not real. No, I just find when a woman gets like attacked, I just cringe at it. It makes me uncomfortable. I don't like it.
That's very fair. Like, I think
Now,
it depends
granted,
on the context as well. Like, but yeah.
well, granted, that's probably the reaction you were supposed to have to Umaga doing this to Maria.
Because I don't think she was a wrestler at the time. I think she was just like a backstage interviewer.
I think she was the
She
interview.
wrestled from time to time.
Oh,
Actually, okay, really quick sidebar because I feel like I have to bring this up. This was after Unforgiven when Trish Stratus beat Lita for the women's championship and then retired, vacating the title.
Yep.
They then made a tournament to crown the next women's champion. Lita moved on by beating Candice Michelle in like 3 seconds because Edge was a special guest ref and hit a spear. Maria made it to the second round.
Oh.
And she made it to the second round because the final match of round 1 was a fatal 4-way bra and panties match.
What?
Yep.
Why?
Because it was 2000s women's wrestling in WWE.
Yeah, true.
So in a tournament to crown the vacant women's champion, they had a bra and panties match.
That, I need to look into that tournament. Like, it sounds fucked.
this is wrestling.
Because the finals were like, it was Mickey and Lita, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Man, that is fucking... The women's division in 2006 was something.
So...
yeah, we have The Miz. He is with Crystal Marshall, and The Miz makes Miz noises. It's the best way I can describe it.
Ooh,
yeah, Miz was pretty funny in this, I guess. I mean, I had no idea what he was talking about for half of it, but it was pretty funny. But who actually was Crystal? Because I remember her, but I don't remember her doing anything.
Well, she was another one of the women that just hung around, and like the fact that there was no women's title on SmackDown at this time made me question why there were any women on the SmackDown roster.
True.
So what she was best noted for is she started an on-screen relationship with Teddy Long, which they then had a wedding, which resulted in Teddy Long having a heart attack.
Yeah, because he took too many fucking boner pills.
Which would result in him being off-screen and making Vicky Guerrero the general manager.
Yeah.
Now, further than that, Bobby Lashley.
Yeah.
She is Bobby Lashley's, are they still married?
I don't know, actually.
That's why I remember.
Yes, because I'm pretty sure Lashley left because, was it Bill DeMott that was just outright racist, or Michael Hayes?
I feel like it was
Michael Hayes.
Are they still together? I don't know if they're still together.
It says so.
Oh, okay.
Oh wait, nope. Partner until 2010.
They split. Oh, okay, fair.
But she did go to TNA with him the first time.
Right.
But the point is, I mean, nothing really. There's not much else that's relevant to what her being on TV.
Hoorah!
Hoorah!
Yes.
The Miz is gonna be facing the Boogeyman next week in London.
And this is pre-Miz Chick Magnet phase.
Oh yeah, no, this is actually it is. Like, yeah, you're right. This is like still fucking reality TV, like being a fucking weirdo. Like,
yep.
Miz.
So we're moving on to the main event. I do want to take a side note to say that it's always was hilarious to me when a WWE pay-per-view was sponsored by a WWE video game.
Oh yeah, this was my very first WWE video game.
Mine was 2006, really? But I digress.
Nice.
Now I think I can say something we can all agree with, which is Saliva is great.
Oh hell yeah!
That took me a second to understand what you meant. Yes, I agree.
Like which song was used for the pay-per-view?
I don't know if they had one for the pay-per-view. I was just talking about Batista's entrance.
Oh, right.
But they
Because I
did do
know
many
that.
other. They did many other. Like they did the upcoming WrestleMania with Ladies and Gentlemen.
Oh yeah, true. They did a click click boom like for the following Survivor Series.
Hunt You Down in 2009.
Yeah, but yeah, fucking
So,
I Walk Alone is old fucking timer.
so Batista makes his. You would think eventually, and it didn't really come into play in this match, but you think eventually the ref would learn and just take the shillelagh from Finlay and hand it to the timekeeper or the ring announcer instead of letting him just leave it in the corner.
I mean, look, referees are canonically dumb.
I know. Well,
maybe
they
it's
have to
written
be.
into his rights. You know, maybe it's a right.
True, but referees
True.
have to be dumb canonically because there's no other way to justify. Well, we can't trust a ref. We need a wrestler who's never reffed a match before to be a special guest referee.
True. Oh man.
So I'm sure it's not really hygienic, and it doesn't happen partially because bleeding doesn't really happen. But I just really liked the touch that Undertaker's blood remained on the canvas for the rest of this episode.
Yeah,
True.
it reminded me of a UFC event where
Yeah.
by the main event, the mat is just stained with blood.
It's pink.
Oh, sorry, this is
So-
Danganronpa blood.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they start the match off, and I had started thinking I misremembered this and thought that it was just going to be a prolonged squash because the idea of a babyface maintaining control throughout the commercial break just felt so weird.
Yeah,
Batista was murdering him for so long.
Yeah, his sign lasted for fucking ages. Like, and it's fucking awesome. Like, it shows how fucking good Batista is. Like, how sick he is.
And it was as I was writing this out that I realized, oh, I guess the leprechaun is still a thing.
Yep. Yeah. Like little bastard comes out,
Yes.
hits Batista in the leg, and yeah, it's just.
And
Finlay takes over.
JBL kept on trying to convince Michael Cole to say that he is a leprechaun. He is a mythical creature.
Yep. Okay, speaking of JBL, I think maybe I'm too. I think I'm spoiled by modern day commentary where where the heel commentator isn't just an asshole; they're just pragmatic. But I absolutely hated how JBL was just so irrational that Michael Cole pointing out that Batista was attacked from behind with outside interference with a foreign object is, quote, making excuses because he's biased.
Yeah, that's funny though.
It is.
But it's, I don't know. I guess I'm spoiled by commentators today who would not just wave that off. They'd say, yeah, well, that's just the way things. No, he's just acting like it should just be okay. And it's like, I don't know.
Yeah. Finlay keeps control for pretty much most of the rest of the match until Batista hits a fucking muscle buster.
Yes.
I was shook by this.
Yeah, I mean it happened from time to time, but
did it?
Yeah. Well, it's one of those moves that I think he would pull out like once in a great while. Like it's not part of his normal moveset.
I legitimately never saw Batista ever do a muscle buster. Like
okay, like unless you can tell me every single move that John Cena did in 2015.
Emerald Flosion, Stunner, fucking
Emerald Flosion.
Red Alert.
Red Alert.
But do you guys remember the half Nelson neckbreaker?
Yes.
Fucking what?
I do actually.
Oh, actually, yeah.
Okay, the point is sometimes people do different moves.
True.
Speaking of, I know that it wasn't like a whole burial thing. I know it wasn't meant to be a dig at Finlay. I know that he's won tons of times with it. I don't know. I just never sits right with me when Batista wins with a spine buster, except for the time he did beat Khali with it.
I mean, also
That's
the
different.
Eliza Burke one.
What was that?
The Eliza Burke one as well.
Hmm.
The one where like he fucking spear spine busters him like out of the air.
Like, and in this one, it makes sense. Like, the whole point is he was working over Batista's leg, and he actually tried to go for it, and he had to go for the spine buster because he couldn't use the Batista bomb because of his leg.
Yeah.
Oh,
Like,
side note, by the way, how old do you guys think Finlay was when this happened?
he would have been fucking in his 40s. Like,
Well, I don't know
mid-40s.
because you say that, and I can't give you an answer because I'm thinking, wait, isn't Batista the old one here?
Oh yeah, Batista's in his 40s too, actually.
Batista was also not young, but dude, Finlay was 48, almost 49 when this happened.
48.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Wow. Yeah, he was going for
Batista
a long
was Batista was a lot
Probably-
younger.
Oh yeah, you know what? It was that he was. It wasn't that Batista was old. It was that he was old for how long he'd been in wrestling.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was 37
he
when
was
this happened.
older than Batista. He was like a year older than Triple H, right?
Something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
And
Also,
they also
Batista also hits like a fucking black hole slam, so he's just like a big TNA mark at the time.
I remember in this time he was using the jackhammer a decent amount.
Oh god, I think he did have that in like a video game moveset.
I don't remember
He didn't
this.
do the spinning around. I wish more people would use the jackhammer and not just the people miscalling Keith Lee's finisher.
Oh yeah, the Big Bang Catastrophe.
Bing Bang Catastrophe, the Ground Zero.
Spirit Bomb.
No, that's a power bomb.
Oh, Power Bomb. Yeah, I thought it was just listing Keith Lee's name moves.
But yeah. So the finish and had King Booker coming out trying to run interference. Very brief, just Batista moved out of the way, slammed Finlay into Booker, turn around, spine buster, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Feel good ending. And I mean, it was what it had to be. Like, yes, it had to be. Like, it had to be something more favoring Batista. Batista had to control most of this match because ultimately, I think they had technically split at this point, but ultimately Finlay was just King Booker's lackey.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, yeah, like because the King Booker's court like had broken up like think either at or after No Mercy, or even before No Mercy.
Well, yeah, because like and they would team up after this, but it was always kind of I hate you, but Teddy Long keeps putting us together.
Yeah, it's like that's literally just heels like being paired because they're heels, essentially.
Well, I mean, case in point, I'm pretty sure Armageddon was Batista and Cena versus Booker and Finlay.
It is, yeah.
No.
But yeah, that was like a good TV match.
Yeah, Batista's a baller.
Yeah, Batista fucking rules.
I gave this a good 7.
Yeah, I'll say, yeah, that's 7. Yeah, 7's accurate.
I enjoyed it. But yeah, like this show, it like flew by. I wish WWE learned that 3-hour shows are not the way to do it, but they never will because ad money.
Yeah, true. I mean, like, look, they moved back to 2 hours for Raw at least. So,
well, that's because they're giving the 3 hours to SmackDown, and Raw's going back to 3 hours when it goes to Netflix.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, that wasn't their choice. But yeah. So that is SmackDown from October of 2006.
November.
I enjoyed it. I'm happy I watched this episode when I was like 12 years old. Like now, it's because of this episode that I am the smelly mark I am now.
It was a decent nostalgia trip for me.
Me too. Because as I mentioned, bro, I love Batista, man. So seeing him in his like peak era when I was a kid, Still enjoy the game, man.
This is going to make some people feel sad for me, and I understand that. This was not too far before or too far after when I started watching. And so like, this is the nostalgia for me. If you show me a Raw from the Attitude Era, I wasn't watching. It's not going to mean anything to me. But this is what I first broke into wrestling watching. Like, one of the first feuds I remember is Bobby Lashley and Booker T going for the King of the Ring.
Okay.
Very
like, I started watching on the road to WrestleMania in 2006.
Nice. So you're a big Matt Hardy and Tatanka fan, then?
Oh. But yeah,
well, I've told you guys the story of how I got back into wrestling, right?
Maybe.
I mean, at this point, we're at the end of the episode, so we can just cut this. But
I mean,
or
let's go ahead.
Or you can keep it in as well.
But no. So my brother got SmackDown vs. Raw 2006, and none of us were watching wrestling at the time, but it was fun. We played and we had fun with it. The Royal Rumble was coming up, and so my brother was like, "Hey guys, who do you think is going to win the Rumble?" And he picked Randy Orton because Randy Orton was cool, and the RKO was cool, and he really liked his theme song. So basically, Randy Orton was a cool guy. I picked Triple H because he was the only guy from one of the very few guys from the game that I actually recognized. And my little brother was 13 at the time, so obviously he picked Rey Mysterio.
And they were the final three.
Oh my god!
And so we took that as a sign from God.
That is
to watch wrestling.
Fucking wild, actually. Holy shit.
That's sick, actually. Yeah.
That rules.
We took that as a sign from God. And we're like, oh, I guess, yeah. And my brother originally got the game in the first place because he had heard that Edge won the WWE Championship, which just sounded crazy to him because we remember Edge from Edge and Christian. And we're like, Edge as a singles competitor?
Unbelievable.
Nah.
Boy, he doesn't even have a Durango. Like, what's he gonna do?
Which number?
95.
Oh, really?
Yeah, to believe it or not. But yeah, that is our episode. Ryan, what is next on the list? What have we got coming up?
What do we have coming up? I wasn't prepared for this.
I mean, you're the one that picked it.
Yeah, you literally picked the next episode.
I picked like 8 things.
Look,
you want me to send you the...
I think you need to I think you gotta unlock some sort of gate, I think. In your mind.
Yeah, you need...
in your memory.
Yeah, yeah, true. You gotta touch upon the untouchable, memories.
Okay. See, this is the thing. I was gonna say Turning Point 2009. But yes.
No, that's later.
Yeah, next up is gonna be my introduction to indie wrestling, which was Dragon Gate USA's Open the Untouchable Gate.
Ooh.
So WrestleMania 17, 2006 SmackDown, Dragon Gate or Bryan Danielson versus Yamato. So same thing, big general theme.
Yeah, we're very consistent on it around here.
Yeah, true. But that is it for our episode today. Thank you for listening or not listening. Look, as long as you're here, we're happy. I don't know how to do an outro.
We'll catch you on the flip side.
We will.
Natural 20.
I rolled a -1. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
We will learn how to do an intro.
And goodbye. Bang!
Bang! Yeah.
Cut it.
To the feed. Take it off the bloody air.